What if I told you there's a place where you can drive higher than most planes fly, where sand dunes rise against snow-capped peaks, and where ancient civilizations left their mark in clifftop dwellings? Welcome to Colorado, a state that defies every expectation you might have about the American West. From passes that climb above 14,000 feet to national parks that protect some of the highest wilderness in the country, this is where adventure lives at altitude. I'll show you why this land of 72 towering peaks captures hearts and cameras alike. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next high-altitude adventure. Did you know Colorado has a road so high that your car literally loses 40% of its power just from the thin air? Mount Evans's paved road climbs to 14,130 feet, the highest you can drive in North America. And here's something wild. The Great Sand Dunes are so massive that sandboarders bombing down them can hit 50 miles per hour, which is faster than most city speed limits. Speaking of speed, those famous maroon bells might be the most photographed peaks in North America. But climbers have a darker nickname for them: the Deadly Bells, because they're made of rock so crumbly it literally falls apart under your feet. At Mesa Verde, ancient cliff dwellings were mysteriously abandoned around 1300 AD, with cooking fires still burning and corn still drying on the roofs, like everyone just vanished mid-meal. Independence Pass gets buried under 40 feet of snow every winter. That's deeper than a 3-story building. And near Denver, the Rocky Mountain Arsenal was once so contaminated with chemical weapons that it's now a wildlife refuge where bald eagles nest, one of America's most incredible environmental comeback stories. Now let's explore the places that make Colorado absolutely unforgettable. Have you ever wondered why some mountains look like they're blushing? The maroon bells aren't just photogenic. They're made of something you won't find anywhere else on Earth. This distinctive maroon granite exists only here, a geological quirk that turned these peaks into North America's most photographed mountains. And standing at Maroon Lake before dawn, you'll understand why. The water lies perfectly still. Then the first light hits. Those twin summits, both soaring past 14,000 feet, ignite in deep crimson, their reflection so sharp it's hard to tell which way is up. The rock itself tells a story 300 million years in the making, layers of ancient sediment compressed and lifted into these impossibly elegant spires. Come autumn, golden aspens frame the maroon peaks like nature arranged the whole scene deliberately. The air bites cold, mist rises off the lake, and that impossible color deepens with every passing minute. From the ancient peaks of the Continental Divide, the entire Great Plains unfold before you, a view spanning millions of years and hundreds of miles in a single glance. Rocky Mountain National Park doesn't just sit in the mountains, it crowns them. 72 peaks rise above 12,000 feet here, their granite faces shaped from rock that's over 1.7 billion years old. Trail Ridge Road carries you through this vertical world, the highest paved road in North America, climbing so high that the air itself feels thinner, sharper. At dawn, light spills across Bear Lake like liquid gold, turning the water into a mirror for Long's Peak's massive silhouette. The scent of pine sharpens as you climb. Elk graze in meadows that bloom with wildflowers each summer. And somewhere above treeline, where nothing grows taller than your ankle, the wind carries the quiet of deep time. At 12,095 feet, you're standing higher than the summit of Mount Rainier, except you drove here. Independence Pass climbs to an elevation where the air holds 40% less oxygen than sea level, where your lungs work overtime and your coffee boils at a lower temperature. The road itself is an engineering defiance, carved into mountainsides that drop away into valleys thousands of feet below. In summer, alpine wildflowers carpet the tundra in impossible purples and yellows, thriving in soil that freezes 9 months of the year. The pass connects Aspen to Leadville along a route that early miners traveled by mule, chasing silver through terrain that wanted them dead. Pull over at the summit. Step out. The wind carries the scent of pine from forests far below, and in every direction, the Elk Mountains rise like stone cathedrals against endless Colorado sky. From the rarefied heights of Independence Pass, we push even higher to a summit you can reach without taking a single step. Mount Evans holds North America's highest paved road, climbing to 14,130 feet above sea level. You read that right? You can drive to the top of a 14er. The road itself is a Depression-era engineering marvel, carved into the mountainside in 1936 as part of Roosevelt's New Deal. As you ascend, the air thins noticeably, holding nearly half the oxygen you're used to at sea level. Mountain goats wander across the pavement like they own the place. Because up here, they do. At the summit, the vibrant alpine blue stretches infinite above granite formations 300 million years old, and on clear mornings, you can count peaks stretching across 5 mountain ranges. All from your car window. Picture a ghost town where silver miners struck it rich, pulling $200 million from these mountains. Then picture that same town today, where private jets line the runway and a modest cabin costs more than most people earn in a lifetime. That's Aspen, a place that went from boom to bust to billionaire playground, yet somehow kept its soul. Victorian storefronts that silver money built still line the streets, now housing galleries and boutiques. The skiing draws the headlines. 4 mountains surrounding a town you can walk end to end in 15 minutes. But come summer, world-class musicians gather for one of America's largest classical festivals, their notes drifting through the same valley that once echoed with pickaxes. Pine-scented air, snow-dusted peaks, and that unmistakable crispness of mountain altitude. From the mining wealth of Durango, we journey to something far older and far more mysterious. Imagine discovering an entire city hidden in a cliff face, abandoned for 700 years. Mesa Verde holds over 600 of these cliff dwellings, tucked into sandstone alcoves like secrets the canyon kept. Cliff Palace alone contains 150 rooms, its walls still standing after a millennium. The ancestral Puebloans built this without metal tools, without wheels, carving out a civilization in vertical rock. Then, around 1300 AD, they simply left. No one knows exactly why. As you climb into these ancient rooms, the earthy scent of stone mingles with crisp mountain air. Fingerprints still mark the plaster, handholds worn smooth by centuries of use. Time feels thin here. Here's something that'll surprise you. This tiny mountain town population under 3,000 hosted the first alternating current power plant in America. That's right. The technology that powers your home was pioneered here in 1891. Telluride started as a rough mining camp, all pickaxes and silver dreams. Now, Hollywood's biggest names slip into town each September for one of the world's most prestigious film festivals, premiering movies months before they hit theaters. Victorian storefronts line Main Street, their weathered brick facades backed by the jagged San Juan Mountains. A Bridal Veil Falls plunges 365 feet at the canyon's end, Colorado's tallest free-falling waterfall. After rain, pine-scented air washes through the Box Canyon, from mining electricity to mining Oscars. Some towns reinvent themselves completely. 6 weeks, that's all it took to build Vail's first ski lift in 1962. Before that? Sheep farmers, quiet meadows, nothing suggesting this would become one of America's largest ski resorts. Now over 5,000 acres of skiable terrain sprawl across these peaks, a transformation so rapid it almost defies belief. But here's what most visitors miss. Between runs, wander Vail Village, and you'll find yourself surrounded by outdoor sculptures, part of a public art collection that rivals small museums. The Gore Range rises behind Bavarian-style architecture, and in summer, the Betty Ford Alpine Gardens explode with wildflowers. Pine-scented air mixes with hot cocoa drifting from cafe doorways. At golden hour, the mountains glow amber and rose, from sheep pastures to world-class slopes in a single generation. $1 billion in gold. That's what miners pulled from these mountains starting in 1859. Today? The only gold rush happens at sunrise, when light spills across the 10-mile range and skiers race for first tracks. Breckenridge made one of Colorado's most dramatic pivots, from pickaxes to powder, from prospectors to après-ski. But the old town didn't vanish. Main Street still runs through Colorado's largest historic district. Victorian storefronts painted in cheerful colors, their wooden facades hiding craft breweries and gear shops. The contrast hits you everywhere. You'll ski past abandoned mine shafts, then warm up in a saloon that served whiskey to gold. Pine-scented air mixes with hot cocoa drifting from doorways. History and adrenaline, side by side on the same mountain. Sand dunes taller than a 50-story skyscraper in Colorado. I know, it sounds impossible. But here in the San Luis Valley, 750 feet of golden sand rise against the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, the tallest dunes anywhere in North America. They've been building for 440,000 years, grain by grain, wind sculpted into waves that stretch to the horizon. And here's the strange part. Sometimes they sing. When conditions align, shifting sand produces an eerie hum that Native American tribes believed was the voice of spirits dwelling within. At sunrise, light pours across the ridgelines like honey, casting shadows so deep the dunes appear almost liquid. The sand feels like warm silk beneath your feet. Behind you, snow-capped peaks. Ahead, an ocean frozen in gold. Early settlers heard a sound echoing through this valley, a rhythmic chugging like a steamboat whistle. No riverboats here, though, just hot springs, their water so superheated it reaches 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Literally boiling. Indigenous peoples soaked in these thermal pools for centuries before anyone thought to name the place after phantom riverboats. Today, you'll find that same steam rising at dawn, curling into crisp mountain air, while the Yampa River flows quietly below. The sulfur hits your nose first, earthy, mineral, unmistakably ancient. But Steamboat Springs isn't just about soaking. This town produced more Olympic skiers than anywhere else in America, earning its nickname Ski Town, USA. By evening, you're choosing powder or hot springs. Either way, that steam keeps rising. Picture this. a pool so massive you could fit 2 football fields inside it. Glenwood Springs claims the world's largest hot springs pool, over 400 feet of steaming, mineral-rich water nestled against the Rockies. The temperatures hover between 90 and 104 degrees, warm enough to melt away any tension from mountain adventures. Native peoples soaked here for thousands of years before the late 1800s transformed this into a health resort that drew presidents and literary legends alike. Ulysses S. Grant came. So did Mark Twain. As you slip into the water, that faint earthy mineral scent rises with the steam, mixing with crisp mountain air. The sun dips behind the peaks, casting the historic Hotel Colorado in amber light while you float in ancient warmth. Just 15 miles from those steaming pools, the landscape transforms into something ancient. Glenwood Canyon stretches 12 miles through rock that remembers volcanic fire and 15 million years of patient carving by the Colorado River. Walls rise 1,300 feet on either side, close enough to feel their presence pressing in. But here's the reward for those willing to climb. Hanging Lake, a turquoise pool suspended on the cliffside like something from a fever dream. The water glows an impossible blue-green against rust and ochre stone. In late afternoon, golden light floods the canyon, turning those towering walls into cathedral pillars. The river below mirrors everything: sky, rock, the slow drift of clouds. Geology made visible, still being written. Here's something unexpected: a Colorado lake warm enough to actually swim in. Shadow Mountain Lake sits at over 8,000 feet, yet geothermal activity beneath its surface keeps the water comfortable through summer months. Most alpine lakes will numb you in minutes. This one invites you to stay. 1,100 acres of deep blue water stretch beneath the never-summer mountains, their peaks reflected so perfectly on calm mornings that you lose track of which way is up. The lake formed when glaciers retreated 10,000 years ago, but it's that hidden warmth rising from below that sets it apart. Arrive at dawn and watch mist lift off the surface like the lake is breathing. Wildflowers crowd the shoreline in summer, their colors doubled in the water's mirror. From the mountain parks, we drop towards something unexpected: a reservoir named for teeth. Horsetooth Reservoir stretches across 1,500 acres, and yes, that massive rock formation really does look like a giant molar jutting from the ridgeline. Native American tribes considered this place sacred long before engineers dammed the canyon in 1951. What started as Fort Collins water supply became something more. The water runs deep turquoise here, almost impossibly blue against rust-colored cliffs formed by ancient volcanic activity. Climbers scale the sandstone faces, while kayakers trace the shoreline below. At sunset, the reservoir transforms completely. Sky and water merge into bands of coral and gold, the jagged rock silhouette darkening against it all. That tooth shape, even more dramatic in fading light. 1,000 feet. That's how deep the hot spring here plunges into the earth, the deepest geothermal source on the planet. The Ute people knew about these waters long before anyone else, traveling here for their healing properties, calling them sacred. You understand why the moment you arrive, steam rises from pools that glow an impossible blue against the San Juan Mountains, and that mineral-rich smell, earthy, ancient, fills every breath. The water emerges at temperatures hot enough to cook in, cooled to perfect soaking warmth by the time it reaches the terraced pools along the river. come at dawn when mist shrouds everything in white and the mountains emerge like shadows. Your muscles unknot. Time slows. The earth itself is warming you from 1,000 feet below. Imagine soaking in steaming mineral waters while 13,000-foot peaks tower above you, snow dusting their summits. That's Ouray. This tiny town, sitting at nearly 8,000 feet, holds more natural hot springs than anywhere else in Colorado. A dozen of them, scattered through these narrow canyon walls. The Ute people treasured these healing waters for centuries, and the town still bears the name of their great chief. Victorian storefronts line Main Street, relics of Silver Rush dreams. But the real treasure flows from the earth itself. Steam rises, mountains watch. The smell of minerals fills your lungs. The screech of a steam whistle cuts through mountain air. A plume of coal smoke rises against snow-capped peaks. Welcome to Durango, where the narrowest gauge railroad in North America still runs on 3-foot tracks, exactly as it did in 1882. The Durango and Silverton line climbs through wilderness no road can reach, its coal-fired engines unchanged since miners first carved fortunes from these mountains. You'll smell it before you see it. That nostalgic bite of burning coal. Victorian storefronts line streets where the Strater Hotel has welcomed guests since 1887. The whistle sounds again. All aboard. From the railroad's nostalgic charm, we drive west into a landscape that defies explanation. Colorado National Monument rises from the desert floor. Sandstone towers sculpted over 300 million years by ancient seas, volcanic fire, and wind that never stops carving. The 23-mile Rim Rock Drive hugs cliffs that plunge 1,000 feet straight down, each overlook revealing formations with names like Independence Monument and the Coke Ovens. At sunset, the rocks ignite. Orange bleeds to crimson, shadows stretch across canyon floors, and you understand why John Otto spent years fighting to protect this place. Some landscapes you visit, this one you feel. The largest flat-topped mountain in North America rises here, and most people have never heard of it. Grand Mesa towers over 10,000 feet, its summit spanning 500 square miles of alpine wilderness, dotted with more than 300 lakes. Below, the Colorado River carves through valley floor where something unexpected thrives: vineyards. During harvest season, the air carries that rich, earthy scent of ripening grapes, while mountain peaks frame every row. A railroad town turned wine country, where morning coffee comes with mesa views and afternoon tastings, and watching sunset paint those ancient cliffs gold. The smell hits you first. Warm, earthy, unmistakably hops. Fort Collins runs on craft beer the way other cities run on coffee. More than 50 breweries pack this college town, and locals take their IPAs as seriously as their hiking trails. But here's the thing. This wasn't always about beer. The whole place started as a Civil War military outpost, built to protect the railroad pushing west. Now those same streets fill with tasting rooms and bike paths winding toward the Poudre River. Grab a pint in Old Town as the Rockies catch that last golden light. This is Colorado at its most relaxed. Did you know that people once came here to breathe? In the late 1800s, Idaho Springs wasn't just a gold rush town, it was a tuberculosis treatment center. Doctors sent patients to soak in these mineral-rich waters, believing the hot springs could heal damaged lungs. That earthy, sulfurous scent still hangs in the mountain air as you slip into Colorado's largest hot springs pool. The clear blue water steams against snow-capped peaks, and suddenly you understand why they came. Gold built this town in 1859, but it's the water that keeps people returning. 30 sculptures, not in a museum, scattered across a former coal mining town in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. Carbondale transformed itself from extracting resources to creating art, and now you'll stumble upon installations around every corner. A bronze figure here, an abstract steel piece there, the mountains always framing whatever you're looking at. The earthy scent of pine mingles with crisp alpine air as you wander downtown, where vibrant murals cover buildings that once housed miners. Founded in 1888, this town chose reinvention. At golden hour, the sculptures cast long shadows while the roaring Fork River glows amber behind them. A hotel so haunted, Stephen King spent one night and wrote, "The Shining." The Stanley Hotel sits white and watchful against the Rockies, its Victorian elegance hiding over a century of ghost stories. Built in 1909 as a retreat for wealthy Easterners, it's now a magnet for paranormal investigators and curious travelers who book room 217 hoping for an encounter. But Estes Park offers more than supernatural thrills. The crisp, pine-scented air fills this valley gateway, where elk graze on autumn meadows and mountain peaks catch the last golden light. Nature and mystery, wrapped in one extraordinary town. Moose went extinct here for nearly a century. Then, in the 1970s, wildlife officials decided to bring them back. Today, Arapahoe National Forest holds the largest moose population in Colorado, a comeback story written across 1.2 million acres of wilderness. The forest stretches from high alpine peaks down through river valleys thick with pine, the air carrying that unmistakable scent of evergreen and damp earth after rain. At Berthoud Pass, the views sweep across endless ridgelines. Summer brings wildflower meadows blazing with color. And if you arrive at Lake Granby before dawn, mist rises from water so still it mirrors the mountains perfectly. The Ute people considered these mountains sacred, and when you stand among the jagged peaks of the San Juan Range, you understand why. Nearly 2 million acres of wilderness sprawl across southwestern Colorado, the largest contiguous wild area in the state. 14,000-foot summits pierce the sky while the Animas River carves through valleys below, its waters so clear you can count stones on the riverbed. Come autumn, the transformation is almost violent. Entire mountainsides ignite in gold as aspen groves turn. The air carries pine and something ancient. This isn't just forest, it's cathedral. 30 million years ago, a volcano erupted here. What remains is Torrey's Peak, 14,267 feet of ancient fire turned to stone. The trail to the summit is surprisingly forgiving, one of the few 14ers where beginners can stand among giants. You climb through alpine meadows where the botanist John Torrey once cataloged species unknown to science. At the base, lakes glow an impossible blue against granite walls. Above, that jagged ridgeline cuts the Colorado sky like broken glass. From ancient peak to ancient amphitheater, Morrison sits in the shadow of 300-million-year-old sandstone slabs that jut from the earth at impossible angles. Native Americans gathered here for ceremonies thousands of years before anyone thought to add a stage. Now those same acoustics, shaped by geology, not engineers, make Red Rocks one of the finest concert venues on the planet. 9,000 people fit between these crimson walls. At sunset, the rocks blaze orange as music echoes off stone older than dinosaurs. 100 murals, not in some massive city, in a town of 6,000 people. Salida might be Colorado's most unexpected art gallery, painted directly onto downtown walls. Railroad workers built this place in 1880. Now kayakers trade stories beneath spray-painted masterpieces while the Arkansas River rushes past. The Sawatch Range towers behind it all, snow-capped peaks framing street art in electric blues and burnt oranges. Come sunset, those murals seem to glow against the mountain shadows. From mountain murals to mountain metropolis, Denver sits exactly 1 mile above sea level. Step onto the 15th row of the state capitol, and a brass marker confirms it. Gold seekers founded this city in 1858, chasing fortune in the Rockies. Today, over 150 breweries call it home, making altitude an ingredient in every pint. The air here carries pine and possibility. At sunset, downtown's glass towers catch fire against peaks still dusted with snow. 15,000 acres of wilderness, 10 miles from downtown Denver. But here's the twist. Bison now graze where chemical weapons were once manufactured. During the Cold War, this land produced munitions. Today, it's one of America's largest urban wildlife refuges. You drive the wildlife loop at golden hour, and there they are, massive silhouettes against the Rockies, moving through prairie grass like they never left. The earthy scent of wetlands carries on mountain air. Nature doesn't forget, it reclaims. From towering peaks to hidden valleys, Colorado revealed itself as a state where every turn offers something unexpected. If these wild landscapes stirred something in you, subscribe for more journeys off the beaten path. Which Colorado gem would you explore first?